If your team goes silent every time you ask a question, it's not because they don't care. It's because you're missing the one leadership skill Caribbean employees respond to. You know that moment in a meeting when you ask, any questions? And the room goes dead quiet? You think they agree, you think they understand, but the truth is, Caribbean silence is not agreement, it is survival. Stay with me for the next few minutes because I'm going to show you exactly why your team doesn't speak up and the one shift that will unlock honest feedback, better decisions, and stronger influence. And if you're part of my leadership community, you already know this month we're going deeper into the Caribbean leadership context. Today's insight is your first unlock. In many Caribbean workplaces, silence is not resistance, it's culture. When a leader asks, any questions? And the room goes quiet, it's easy to assume people agree, understand, or have nothing to add. But that silence often means I don't want to challenge authority. I don't want to appear disrespectful. I don't want to be the one who speaks out of turn. I'm waiting to be invited. This is not incompetence. This is not disengagement. This is Caribbean social conditioning. We grew up in systems where children were told, stay out of big people business. Students were punished for talking back. Employees were taught to respect rank, not express perspective. Speaking up was seen as boldness, and boldness was often punished. So now, as adults, many Caribbean professionals still carry that internal script wait until you're invited. And here's the leadership mistakes. Most leaders wait for volunteers, but Caribbean employees wait for permission. That's why your meetings feel flat. That's why your team hesitates. That's why innovation feels slow. Not because they lack ideas, but because they lack psychological permission. So here's the leadership shift. Don't wait for volunteers. Invite voices intentionally. Replace any questions with questions that open the room. What concerns do you see? What would you change? Who will you impact the most? What's one thing you should consider before moving forward? These questions do three things. They remove the fear of disrespect, they signal that dissent is allowed, they give people a safe starting point. When you ask better questions, you get better engagement. Silence isn't agreement, it's a signal, and leaders must learn to interpret it. If you want a team that speaks up, you must create a culture where speaking up is safe. That's the Caribbean leadership context. And when you understand it, you lead with more clarity, compassion, and more influence. If this insight hit home for you, don't just watch, apply it this week. Ask one intentional question in your next meeting and watch the room shift. And if you're part of my returning leadership community, you already know June is our month of Caribbean leadership clarity. More insights are coming and they're going to stretch you. If you're new here, subscribe and stay connected because Caribbean leadership requires a different kind of intelligence, and this is where we build it.